Well, I hope you all have been enjoying your lunch. At this time, we will be continuing with our program. It is my pleasure to introduce to you today Cecily Wilson. There's little veteran broadcast journalist Cecily Wilson hasn't survived. 2 strokes did not stop her. Divorce didn't derail her. She lost her job and found her passion. She's a woman who overcomes through sheer willpower, and she continues to thrive. Cecily leads powerfully, using her voice to inspire and influence the world. That's why we call her fierce, fearless, and fabulous. She's often asked, how did you go from broadcast news to the nonprofit sector? Her answer is simple. The transition wasn't a choice. Sometimes you were pushed in life into your purpose. After experiencing a series of unexpected life adversities, my life quickly fell apart. One of my favorite quotes is, in order to find yourself, you must lose yourself in the service of others. The philanthropic bug bit me. My gifts gave me the opportunity to merge my profession with my passion and service above self, Cecily says. Cecily is the founder of WOW Legacy Group, a growing Central Florida nonprofit with the mission to empower, educate, encourage, and inspire women facing life adversity. Her philanthropic work is done through the organization's Fall into Fabulous Empowerment program. She's also a Telly Award-winning broadcast journalist, media communications professional, Mrs. Florida International 1999. Cecily says her greatest role is being mommy to her daughter Chrissy and Nicole. She's even more proud of her newest title, Gina, to her granddaughter Amari Elizabeth. An active member of the greater Orlando community, Cecily volunteers with a variety of organizations throughout the region, including passionate interests for stroke awareness and curbing domestic violence. Please welcome to the stage, Cecily Wilson.
Let's clear the board, bring out Cecily. Cecily, good to see you. Your sister Tanya, she put up 23 points. Hands on your hip, through with her. That's the bad news. Here's the good news. You need 177 points. You need just about everything there is to get. But guess what? You can make it happen. I'm gonna ask you the same 5 questions. You cannot duplicate the answers. If you do, you're gonna hear this sound. You will not hear that sound this round right here. Don't even worry about that. Trust me, you won't hear that sound. We could have just slid right through that right there. Because if you hear that sound right there, I'm diving in the crowd.
Oh my God.
Okay. Are you ready? All right, let's remind everyone of Tanya's answers. Your 25 seconds on the clock, please. Your clock will start after I read the first question. We asked 100 men, name a part of your body that's bigger than it was when you were 16.
Your penis.
It's funny how one word can change your life. It wasn't planned. It wasn't contrived. I literally just said it. The P word. I actually thought it was a pretty good answer, quite frankly.
How many points was it worth?
I'm getting ready to tell you that. Thanks, Chris. It wasn't the #1 answer. It didn't even make the board. 0 points. That's it. And I'm like, who did they survey? Because they lied. I'm like, really? But when I started to think about the power of the word, It's interesting because if you ever thought that your words don't have power or that your words, what you say matters, it does. I mean, it only took one word to bring the king of comedy to his knees. How powerful is that? So words have power. I started to think about the impact the P word actually has on my life, and it had throughout the tapestry of Cecily. It had more of a profound effect than just that. But I want to take you back on a journey before that game show moment, because there was a lot going on in my life before that moment. So I want to tell you to kind of set up that story and why I said the P word. In fact, I wrote a book about it. She Said the P Word. Soon to be released. And it's all about unleashing the power of the P. And let's go back to 2010. At that moment, before that moment actually, my life had just fallen apart. It was on the heels of recovering from an on-air stroke. The stroke literally took my voice away, not one, but 2 strokes. Could not speak. The words that I depended on my entire life to build my broadcasting news career, gone. How is that gonna work? You're on TV. It's like running a marathon without your legs. It's like a bird flying without its wings. It's like riding a bike without wheels. You can't do that. So that was the impact of my life at that moment, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what's happening? The pain that I felt at that moment, probably like many of us are feeling right now in the middle of this pandemic, the crisis that has shut the entire world down. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what you look like, what position you hold. It doesn't matter. Life just stopped. And that's how I felt at that moment. And so when I thought about it, okay, this is over for me. What's going to happen with the rest of my career? That wasn't the only thing that happened. It seemed to happen like 1-2 punch. I'm a woman of faith. And so I believe in what the Word of God says. And I felt like Job. Job in the Bible had everything happening to him because shortly thereafter losing my voice, I had a layoff. My career was over. And I'm like, what the heck else can happen right now? What's happening? Oh, you want some more? Let me tell you what's gonna happen. Your baby daddy, your college sweetheart, the man that you were going to live your forever with, we're divorcing. Your marriage is over. I can't breathe. This is too much for me. The pain was enormous. And I thought, okay, how much more can I take? Oh, I got one more for you. Your house, your beautiful home in Magnolia Plantation, just right around the corner from here, it's being gone to foreclosure. You're losing it because you can't maintain it by yourself. That's the home my children grew up in, the home that I built from the ground up with my husband. I'm technically homeless. So here at this moment, before the Family Feud, I hear about, oh, auditions are coming to Universal Studios. Perfect. Okay. Got to come up with a plan. Because I'm thinking, okay, Steve Harvey has influence. He's connected. Maybe he will be that person that will help open the door to the industry for me again, to get back to work so that I can save my home and get life back to normal. I had to find out and utilize a P word. That P word was a plan. Probably there's many of us sitting in this room trying to figure out a plan right now. What's my plan to send my babies back to school in the middle of a frickin' pandemic? What's my plan? What's my plan to find a new job now that I've been furloughed? What's my plan? What am I going to do? I'm losing my business because everything is shut down. I need a plan. That's how I felt back then. I needed a plan. So I came up with a plan. In the business, we have something called a resume reel. And that resume reel is a compilation of our body of work and that we give and show when we're looking for on-air work. So it shows everything that we've done. And I knew that if I had a chance to see and speak to Steve Harvey, I'm like Hamilton. My shot. This is my shot. All I need to do is get close to him. But I had to think strategically about that plan. What is this plan going to look like? Okay, well, another P word, pretty privilege. You know what that is? Pretty privilege? Everybody has it. Not everybody. Pretty people have pretty privilege, right? But I have pretty privilege. And I says, you know what? I'm going to use it. He's a male. I'm going to figure this thing out. Went shopping, found that cute little Ralph Lauren dress, but it didn't have pockets. I'm like, okay. And the producers gave us strict instructions. You cannot bring anything into the studio during the taping. So I knew I only had a quick second. I couldn't go back to the green room. What was I going to do? Where can I put these reels? So I put them on little mini discs, small enough to put in my hand so that I could just hold it in my hand. But that wasn't enough. I had to use my hands. So what was I going to do with that? I was strategic. I put them in my bra. Like pasties, baby, right there. I put them right there, left and right side, because I knew I had to have quick and easy access. Yes, I said it and I did it. So here we are. We're voted off the feud, and Steve is coming down the family line, shaking our hands. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. We're glad you're here, blah, 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 blah. He gets to me. Here's my shot. Here's my shot. I'm getting ready to take it. All right. Hey, Steve, thank you so much. I had so much fun. Listen, I'm an unemployed journalist. I'm really trying to get back in the business. Would you mind looking at my resume reel? I would really love to have a conversation with you. Sure. Just give it to my assistant over there. Oh, no. That's not going to happen. I wanted to make sure he got it in his hand. I'm like, oh, no, wait. Bam! Now, if you think his eyes were big when I said penis, his eyes were like, oh, who is this woman? But I had to be strategic about my plan. And that's what I'm telling you. We've got to be strategic. So I'm thinking this plan is going to work. And he agreed that he would help me open up a door. He says, I'll give you a call. Okay, thank you so much. I'm gonna save my house. Life is gonna get back to normal again. This is it. One day, 3 days, 5, a year, nothing. He didn't call. Thinking, what? That was my plan. It didn't work. And when I think about where we are right now, sometimes our plan, the way that we have it, it's not going the right way. In fact, I wrote about a plan in my book, shameless plug. She said the P word. And I told you I'm a woman of faith. And in Jeremiah 29:11, it says, I know the plans that I have for you, plans of peace and not of evil, that will give you an expected end. So God has a plan for my life, and I know what it is. I don't know what it is. He knows what it is, and sometimes he doesn't even let a sister know what it is. I want to know. Can you just let me know what's going on? Give me a clue, a hint, because I'm really hurting right now, and I need to know. But he also says in Habakkuk 2:2 that write the vision down and make it plain, right? So I have a vision board. And on that vision board, 2 years ago, I wrote that I wanted to write a book and be a best-selling author. I wanted to restore my home. I wanted to expand my nonprofit. I wanted to reduce my debt and have wealth. All of these things are on my board, and I see it on a daily basis. So when I say write it down, make it plain, so it's visible, that's what you have to do with your plan. Make that plan clear, concise, and visible, something that you can see every day. It's the power of the P, the plan. Now, when you have a plan, you can't just have a plan and think it's gonna happen just by doing nothing. You've got to do something. That plan has to work, and it has to be your plan. It can't be Jessica's plan or Christina's plan or Jason's plan. It has to be your plan, because if it's somebody else's plan, it's like driving a car that doesn't belong to you, right? You like, where's the I don't know where. It doesn't work. As a mother, and there's some mothers in here, and I'm sure I'm not alone, that I had a plan for my daughters, Chrissy and Nicole. This plan, I'd been working on the plan from the moment I knew that I was having a baby, right? They're gonna be great. Chrissy was going to be a journalist just like mommy. Nicole, because she was amazing in math and science, going to be an anesthesiologist. We've been talking about that. That was the plan. Senior year in high school, Nicole, the little one, who's now a junior at Howard University, she says, no, I am not going to med school, Mommy. Can you please stop saying I'm going to med school? Because I'm not. What you talking about, Willis? I am going to be a fashion designer. What? That is not a part of the plan. Our children have their own plan, their own passion. And she's going with her passion. And I'm here to support that, right? But it wasn't a part of my plan. The other thing about the plan, please know that the plan has to be attainable. Your plan can't be something that you're just thinking about. You got to be committed to it, because if you're just thinking about a plan, it might work. I'm thinking about it. I don't know, maybe. But if you're committed to that plan, you're all in. You're going for it. There's nothing that's going to stop you from that plan. I think about people who had a plan and didn't get off track. I think about people like Mark Zuckerberg. He had a plan. It was his plan A. It wasn't a plan B, because when you have a plan B, oftentimes you hear people say, oh, you got to have a plan B, you have a plan B. I believe when you have a plan B, it only sets you up for failure for plan A, because it gives you kind of an out, like, I don't have to commit to it. But that plan A, when that's all you have, you're going for it. You're committed to it. You're all in. You got to have that plan A and not the plan B. Mark Zuckerberg didn't have one. Oprah Winfrey didn't have a plan B. Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, didn't have a plan B. And I'm so glad that she didn't, because I need my Spanx. But she had that plan A, and she went for it in that little red backpack that she had. That's how committed she was to her dream, to her passion. And oftentimes when you have that passion, it just burns right here. Nothing douses it. It can be doused just a little bit, but that passion is there, and you're always, there's just something that I want to do. I'm going to do it. And sometimes in the middle of a crisis, it creates an opportunity. I took the opportunity to write my book because I lost my job again in the middle of this crisis. So this pain is something that I'm feeling again. Think about your plan. Where are we going from here? What are you going to do? That's the power of the P. But then there's the power of something else. When the plan didn't work out, the plan with Steve Harvey didn't work out, the plan with my children didn't work out. Can you guys stand up for just a moment? Stand up, please, right where you are. When a plan doesn't work out, I need you all to take a pee. Are you ready to go pee? Because I really am. I really do have to pee right now. What I want you to do, turn in the opposite direction. Just turn around, right where you are, turn around. That's called a pivot. That's what we're doing. You can sit down now. Thank you. You got to pivot. That's the power of the P. We're doing this. Jason just told me They had to pivot. This is not what is normally going on in this room, because the plan that they had didn't work. They had to take a pivot. Sometimes the plan works, sometimes it doesn't. In the basketball world, because I was married to a basketball player, my children played basketball in school, I always knew the term pivot, but in that world, the pivot, I heard it in the relation to the game. They will always say, plant your foot, hold on to that ball, you hold it with your dear life, and you're looking, and you see your opponent coming toward you. What do? Pivot, pivot. Which way are you gonna go? You gotta pivot. You're standing firm. It's almost like you're deflecting, something that's coming towards you. So that pivot is powerful to moving yourself in a different direction. It may not be the way that you want to go, but you definitely don't want to turn back the way that you came from because it wasn't working. So you got to do something different. It's like failure. I like to say that failure is God's way of saying, oh, you're going in the wrong way. You got to make a pivot. So pivot leads you towards that process. That's what I learned. I've been pivoting. Listen, I've been pivoting before pivoting was a thing. I think I'm a subject matter expert on pivoting. Because pivot makes a difference. And through all that pivoting, there's another P word. Perseverance. Perseverance is when you don't stop. You become unstoppable. That's perseverance. What are you persevering through right now? We're all in this together. Literally, we're all in this together. The pandemic, the biggest P of all, a pandemic. We've got to persevere through the loss, the hurt, the disappointment, the heartbreak, the job loss, the foreclosures. We've got to persevere through all of that, because what's the other option? Quitting and dying and just giving up. That's not an option for me. Never has been, never will be. And as much of the pain that endures, the heartbreak, the disappointment, the death, because people are losing their lives, it's hurtful. And you feel like you can't breathe. You can't breathe. You can't take any more. I'm over this right now. I'm over it. But I have no other choice. You gotta keep moving. You gotta be strong and courageous and unstoppable. That's what this is about, being unstoppable. The one thing that has kept me going throughout all of this is another P word. I told you we're unleashing the power of the P. It's prayer. Prayer is that one thing that helped me get through everything that I've gone through. Now, some of you may be prayers, some of you may not, but I got the mic right now, and I'm just gonna pray. Just for a second. I'm not taking y'all to church. I'm just because that's just who I am. God gave me my voice back to empower and to influence and inspire so many. And as we're going through this pandemic, it's prayer that's gonna get us through all that we're going through. So, Father in heaven, I just thank you right now for the ability to breathe again, because we know that there are so many men and women that are not here with us. There's so many lives that are being infected by this pandemic, and we're out of control. We're not even in control, but you are. We ask that you continue to protect our children, our babies who are going back into the classrooms. Protect them from any virus or disease that may impact their lives, Lord, and give wisdom to the teachers and the educators and the leaders who are in control there, Lord. And I ask that you also protect every man and woman in this room today. Whatever's going on in their life, you already know. Give them peace, comfort and give them favor for prosperity. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Prayer works. And thank you for allowing me to do that. But prayer works. That's the power of the P. And I want you to think about that P word in your life right now, whatever that is. You can take out a pencil and paper and write that P word right there. Think about it. What is it? What is that P word for you? Is it promise? Is it purpose? Is it passion? Is it Prada? Whatever that P word that moves you, carry it with you, because it really gives you that power to keep moving forward. I had a prayer when I told you about the book. And before this happened, me being here today, Christina called me. I was praying. Let me take that back. I was praying because my book is soon to be released. And I said, okay, I have 250 more books to sell before I make the bestsellers list. How am I going to do that? How? I get a phone call from Chris. And she said, hey, do you think you have time to be a keynote speaker for us for a luncheon? I'm like, is it in person? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh. And then she says, well, we were expecting approximately 250 people. I'm like, oh, okay, I think I can make that work. It was an answer to a prayer. So I placed my cards on the table there to pre-order my book. P is for pre-order. To pre-order. Kendra sat standing right there, sitting right there. But it would be an answer, thank you, an answer to the prayer, and you would be a part of that P word posse, a part of the plan that God has for me. It's a purpose that He's given to me to use my gifts, my voice, my words to inspire. Power in the prayer, power in the perseverance. There's even power in the pain, because that pain actually sometimes pushes you into your purpose. Sometimes you're forced into it, just like I said earlier. Jason said it. All those setbacks pushed me into my purpose to empower other women through my nonprofit. And the joy that I get out of seeing some woman who feels like her life is over. And when I tell her my story, girlfriend, you're not alone. You're not the only one. We got you. We can do this together. That is my purpose. I thought it was to get to network. That's it. I was headed straight to Good Morning America. That was it. I'm going to network. That was a part of my plan. But I had to pivot, because that wasn't a part of the plan that God had for me. So I want you guys to think about a plan, a pivot, a purpose, the pain that you're going through right now in the middle of COVID-19. But think about the persons that are right there with you. I call them my posse. There's power in the posse. Back in the day, the posses had guns and they were ready to roll, get the job done, right? That's what a real girlfriend, ride or die chicks is what I call them. Your crew, whatever you want to call that person, man or woman, we all have a posse. There's power in the posse because the posse members are those who are there to encourage you when you can't encourage yourself. The posse members are those who are there to breathe life into you when life is slowly draining from your body. Those are the posse members that are right there with you, like Kendra, who, when your name can't open doors anymore, that's the posse you want by you. When you have nothing else to give them, and they're still there still with you, still cheering you on, still loving on you, still encouraging you. That's a true posse. Everybody can't be in the posse front row. Everybody can't be there, right? Because there's some haters out there, so you got to be aware of the haters, right? Am I the only one to think about that? Okay, there's some haters. You've got to be aware of them. So when I tell you, as we close, I just want to encourage you to unleash the power of the P. Any of those P words will work. Any of those P words will inspire you. Any of those P words will help push you to your next purpose, your next passion, your next place. You can just take a P. Take a P. So unleash the power of the P. And I thank you for this opportunity. And please pre-order my book. Yes.
It's a bit of an uncommon format, and so in order to not pass the microphone around from hand to hand, we have a little time for Q&A. So if anybody has a question, I think you'd be willing to answer any questions
Absolutely.
that anybody in the audience might have. So at this time, for a couple of minutes, does anyone have a question?
Questions, statements, any issues? I'm going to yes, Karen.
So you said you started this during COVID. How long did it take you to write the book and go through the process of getting it to the publisher?
Yeah, actually 7 months, and I didn't think about that until the book has been in my head for years. 4 or 5 years I've been talking about it. It's been on I think I'm going to write a bookshelf. Everybody has a story in them, but mine was sitting on the shelf, and that's where it was until literally a girlfriend, Judy Isaacson. She's on my board, firecracker, and we're having a conversation, and she says, Cecily, you should really write a book. And I'm like, I really don't have time. I'm so focused. I've got to find a job right now. No, you need to write a book. And so you call this person right here. She's a publisher. She's going to help you. That was in January. On the 1st of July, I shipped it over to the publisher, finished. So 7 months, but that was a committed. I wasn't thinking about it. Remember, I had a plan. So that plan was, okay, I'm going to finish this book in 7 months. And it was my birthday month because I was born July 18th. And I figured, what better way to celebrate my birthday than by finishing this book? So it took me 7 months. And let me just tell you a little bit about that P. I did some research. I didn't really think, because research is what I do because of being a journalist. You've got to go back and do your research. But I actually found out that there is a meaning behind the letter P. It represents spiritual knowledge, wisdom, independence, and family. And it represents the number 7. I'm like, okay. So I felt like I was right on track with all of that because that all embodies who Cecily is. So it took me 7 months to get it up there, and I got an email just this morning from the publisher that said that in about 2 weeks it shall be done. So I still have a chance to get more book sales. So I'm excited about that. So in about 2 weeks, by the 22nd, I should have my book in hand ready to go. So I'm excited about that. So thank you.
Very good. Any other questions from the audience?
Right over there.
Oh, there we go.
What is the last book or podcast you listened to that inspired you?
Oh, T.D. Jakes. T.D. Jakes, the last book, it's actually crushing because I felt like I was being crushed like a grape. And now it's just kind of fermenting into a little fine wine, but it's been crushing by Bishop T.D. Jakes and his podcast. So that's been on my list. And I have my own podcast, and it's called something else, but it's SI Happens. Deal with it. I can't say the other 2 letters. So.